Hi guys, Kim here, welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we are going to talk about December garden chores. So it is really nice today. It is like 60s, where the last couple of days it's been really cold. You hear Roxy in the background. She can't really get to me. She's on her soft leash. I know. Well, goodness. If I let you off, you're going to get loose. Yeah, you will. Oh, you guys want to see her? Look, you gonna help me? Come here. You gonna help me? You gonna help Mama? Huh? You gonna help me? Here, sit. Sit. Good girl. Good sit. Good girl. Good girl. You gonna lay down? You gonna down? Here she is. Here's Miss Roxy. You gonna say hi to everybody? Say hi. Say hi, garden friends. Say hi. So I can help dig. Yeah. So when I plant, I can help dig. Isn't that right, Miss Roxy? Huh? Huh? I can't trust her yet. So if I have a treat and tell her to come, she'll come. But if I don't have a treat, she will not come yet. So if anybody has some advice on that, I'll take it. I did buy one of those little dog books to help train that's specialized to your dog. So I need to learn, read. Don't we, Roxy? We need to learn and read because she's very smart. She's very trainable. Very trainable, aren't you? What are you doing? Oh, can't just get in the treats. She's got her nozzle right in the treat. In the treats, didn't you? Yes, you did. We have freeze-dried liver here is what we have for her. And she really likes that. She'll come for this one. Not all treats will she come for. Will you, Roxy? Nope. Not all treats will you come for. So anyways, in this video, I want to talk about at least 5 things that you can do in your garden right now. And the number one thing that's dear to me is my birds. Now that the bees are gone, the butterflies are gone, the hummingbirds are gone, what is left are my birds that give me joy and sing to me and give me noise, and they're beautiful for me to look into the garden. So make sure that you have a little station to feed the birds right here in the wintertime because they really need it. And right now is a really hard time for them to find their food. What do you want? What do you want? Is that right? What do you want? Do you want the treats? Yeah, you want the treats? So that is number one that's dear to me, and I love to sit out on my back porch, and especially because in the morning time we get this sun in the morning time, and pretty much you can see it's kind of late afternoon and I'm starting to get some shade from these Yoshio cryptomeria trees. So anyways, like it's warm back here, a lot warmer back here than in the front. I'd say about 10 to 20 degrees warmer, and I get to watch my birds. So that is what I like to do every single morning is I'll grab some kind of hot drink and come out here and watch my birds. So number one on my list is make sure you feed your birds. What are you doing? I can't get any work done. No, I can't. I can't get any work done. And then number 2 on our list is to make sure you water all your containers. Things that are in the ground get more water than your containers do. So we have not had any rain for weeks now. So you want to make sure you come out and water everything that's in your containers. So these concrete containers, I have trees in containers that need to be watered. I have hanging baskets that need to be watered. So make sure you water everything. That's the last thing that you want is for things to die in the wintertime because you did not give them any water whatsoever. What are you doing, my friend? What are you doing? So that is number 2 on the list. And then number 3 on the list is make sure you water anything that's recently planted. Like for instance, I just planted some I just planted my maple tree not too long ago, so I want to make sure that that's getting adequate water too, because the root base is not as established as something else that I planted maybe 2 to 3 years ago. So that is number 3 on my list, is make sure that you water. If it has not rained in 2 weeks, you want to make sure you water at least. Now I think tomorrow we're going to get an adequate amount of rain, so I may not have to come back out here and water anything for another week or 2, but you still have to water things in the wintertime because the roots are still developing and getting stronger and stronger for next spring. So anything that you recently planted, make sure that you please give them an adequate amount of water. For instance, the maple that I just planted, I had a 2-gallon container and I put the whole 2 gallons right on that one plant. And that should be good probably for another 2 to 3 weeks in the ground, because more moisture in the ground versus something that's in your container. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you have like stuff in my containers, like I have some pansies and wire vine and rumex and corabellas in here, I want to make sure that they have an adequate amount of water to keep them alive. So make sure you remember to do that. And number 4 on my list is still to continue to pull weeds. If you're out here and you're gardening on a day like today and it's gorgeous and I see a weed in my dormant sod, then I'm going to go ahead and pick that weed up, because it's much easier right now to remove that weed now when it's small versus when it gets really large in the springtime. So that is number 4 on my list, is to continue to pull up weeds when you see them. Now, number 5 on my list is when I was going to Las Vegas, we went to Las Vegas for a wedding for my nephew, and I'll share pictures with you of the wedding. It was absolutely gorgeous wedding, but they didn't go to Las Vegas just to get married. My nephew actually lives in Las Vegas. This is my husband's sister that lives there, and she lives about 20 miles off the strip. So we were like, we were very blessed that we got to go and be part of their wedding. So we'll show pictures. It was very formal. So me and Paul dressed up really nice, and it was an outdoor venue. It was a little bit chilly there, but like I said, it was really, really nice wedding. So I'll share pictures with you on that too. But when I came back from Las Vegas, it was warm here, cold there, and then when we got back here in Charlotte, North Carolina, it was even colder here, and we had temperatures all the way down, I think, into like the teens, like 13, 15, 17, and we got like a really, really hard frost. So actually it just pretty much killed everything that I had going on here, my hostas, all the Gara, and then it didn't really kill my Nepeta, but it's time to prune everything back too. So I want to show you like what my garden is like pruned all the way back here in the middle of December, since everything has got it, like the frost has gotten all the foliage and everything is all pretty much dead. Or not dead, but the foliage needs to be removed. So right there behind me, I have a Wadula. And so right here behind me, I have a Wadula, and this is candy corn. Now this is like pretty much, it hasn't really dropped all of its leaves, but you can pretty much see like they're all crispy right here and about ready to all fall off. Some of the foliage still looks good, but in order to keep this more tamed, you can prune this all the way back. And I'm going to prune it all the way back, what are you doing, to probably about 12 to 18 inches. And then we've got Gara. I've got a pufferfish back there that needs to be pruned back. I'm just going to take off the dead blooms on that. I'm not going to give it a hard prune until probably sometime in the springtime. And then I got Nepeta behind me, and then we still have lots of lungwort that needs to be cut back. And as I cut, I'll kind of share with you like everything that needs to be cut back. And then I was really wanting to save my begonias and bring them in, but I didn't get to them in time, so I'm really not going to worry about this year. But I really, really wanted to bring them in to help me save some money next year. And I could probably still dig them up, and the roots are probably still going to be okay, just the foliage on top. I still may give it a try. So anyways, come garden with me, and I'm going to share my experience as I'm pruning everything with you, my adventures that I had in Las Vegas. So the only tools that I pretty much need right now are a really good set of pruners, and I like my Foco 2 pruners more than I do anything. I have a small hand and they actually fit in my hand really, really good, and they are very sharp and they work great. I have a pair of gloves on and I have my sleek garden bag. So my goal for today, because this is hard on my knees, it's hard on my back, is I'm gonna fill 2 of these up each day. So I filled up 2 yesterday and pretty much got maybe 30 feet of this done, and then I'm gonna fill 2 up today, and then I'm gonna stop because I'm really, really tired of bending over and it hurts me. So that's my goal. So what I'm gonna do with this candy corn spirea is just go ahead and pruning it back to about 12 inches or so. You don't have to on these modulas, but they grow on old growth, and I like everything to be like really tidy in this area. So that is what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and cut it back, and the new growth on it last year was just absolutely beautiful. All right, so the first day that we had a little bit of free time in Las Vegas, we went to the Bellagio and we visited the conservatory at Bellagio. And as you know, or most of you probably know, you've probably seen like shorts and everything else on it, is they always have some kind of real beautiful display of like roses and different blooms that they like create everything. Now this was Christmas time, so they didn't have as much of that, but it was still really beautiful. And I'll share like all of my little clips that I took with you. And then they had one display where they had different roses and acorns and all that kind of beautiful stuff that was displayed. So of course that was my favorite part. And let's see, the next day, because the strip was really, really packed, you guys, like for me personally, I don't love to gamble. I don't really want to waste my money that way. I'd rather like waste my money on plants, honestly. But so I don't really care to like gamble. If I gamble, I'm only going to spend $100 or $200, and that's max. So we just walked around the strip, and it was really, really, really packed and busy. So anyways, we didn't stay there very long. And actually, we were like, me and my husband were kind of weird. We're like, all right, we're in Las Vegas, right? Like, what are we gonna do today before like the wedding or before the rehearsal or whatever? So, kind of crazy, right? Well, anyways, the next day, or the very day that we got in, we went to Red Rock Canyon. It's a state park. And oh my gosh, it was beautiful. Like the rock formation that was there, we went like on a little hike. I just really loved being outside. The sky was absolutely beautiful the day that we went. So I'm gonna share some pictures of that and some of the scenery. And then what else did we do? Oh, the very last night we went to this chocolate place, and they had like a garden right in front of the chocolate place. You can go through and look at all the cactuses that they had. And that was pretty, like in one little spot, they had some gorgeous cactuses that I was able to view and share with you guys also. And then they had lights, Christmas lights on it. So that was really, really pretty. And I'll share some clips of that with you also. Oh, the legs are already starting to get numb. So some of you guys may have already done this, and I've usually already I've already had this done, but not this year. Things have been crazy. Trying to get one video out for you guys for YouTube, so I've been trying to concentrate on that. I've been trying to concentrate on myself again because I just kind of let myself go, and I don't really want to do that. So I've been trying to make sure like I exercise every single day. So I've been making time for that as well. And then of course my work has been kind of crazy busy too. And then for some reason I'm just really tired. Like who has been just really, really tired this year? I don't know what's wrong with me. But like I said, that's another reason why I'm trying to get myself like back on track with that. Losing a little bit of weight. Again, story of my life. So I've got 3 of these candy corn spireas. These give like so much interest all year long, you guys. So you definitely need one into your garden. You need a candy corn spirea in your life. So I've got 3. This one right here gets more sun, so it's the prettiest out of all. This one right here. But see how it looks when it's cut all the way back? I personally like a clean garden, so I try to pick up some of these leaves as much as possible, but you don't have to. The leaves in your garden can actually help protect your garden from the winter. And actually, if I lived in a colder zone, there'd be no way I'd be piling all these leaves up onto this plant versus removing some of them. So next I'm going to tackle, this is the Walker's Low Nepeta. And it has, over the years, gotten like more and more mounded and a larger plant. I could probably actually this year, if I wanted to, divide them. Sometimes when you divide them, they won't get as floppy. And then I don't really have a lot of space for if I do divide these, so I'd probably be gifting them, giving them to other neighbors or friends. But right now, I'm not going to touch them. I'm just pruning everything way back. This Nepeta or Walker's Low or whatever you have, cat's pajamas, anything like that, you can just cut it all the way back down to the ground because all of this is going to get brand new growth. All of it will. So some of the other stuff that I've been pruning I have in here are my Gara. I pruned that back. I think I got one Gara behind me still. I've been getting all the old foliage off from the hostas and lungwort. Now I do have hellebore in here, and most of my hellebore has all new foliage on it, not old foliage. So I'm pretty much going to leave that, and that's going to start blooming soon as well. So that's going to be my winter interest also. Any kind of evergreen is a winter interest, and then things like this hellebore and stuff like that is also going to give me some flowers too in the wintertime. And then other blooms in the wintertime are my camellias. So any southerner has to have a camellia. Like I said, I'm just pruning this all the way back as far as I can get it. And another thing that you can do right now is mulch too. So if you don't have a lot of mulch, you can go ahead and mulch your area, and that will help protect your garden as well. All right, so I have right here some hardy geranium, and I'll go ahead and remove that too as well. I'm just gonna take my handful here and just chop it all the way off to the very bottom, like so. And then right next to it I have lantana. Now lantana, this is a perennial lantana, and it will come back for me next year, but I'm just cutting it all the way back to the ground as well. It didn't really grow good this past year. But you know what they say, the first year they sleep. The second year they creep. And then the third year they leap. So be patient when you're gardening, because it could take at least 3 years for this plant to look its best. I have another hardy geranium right here. I have some daylilies that I'm pruning back. So you can see I have some hellebores right here. I have some old foliage that's coming off this cryptomera. And that's another thing that I'm doing too that I can constantly is pull these old branches off that are dead off this cryptomera. So when I see that, I'm doing that as well. But right here I have this pink-a-blue lungwort right here. And all this is just going to get real mushy. And I'm going to prune all of that back. I'm just cutting all this old foliage off, like so. You guys comment, like tell me what you're doing in your gardens right now, that if I forgot to tell you something, we're all learning from each other. So what are you doing in your garden right now to help prepare for wintertime, or just to make yourself life easier in the springtime? Now I understand some of you have snow and you cannot come out here and do this. So I guess I'm fortunate and lucky that I live in an area that I don't get a lot of snow. But honestly, the last couple of days, I have not wanted to come out of here and do anything in the garden. Yesterday, it got to be about 50, so I came out and, like I said, I did two of these big baskets full. And this is an old one, so I'm going to get rid of that. That's on my hellebore here. All this other one looks pretty good. Some of my jonquils are coming up too. I'll share that with you. And by pruning all this back, it actually allows me to see like all of my pretty spring blooming flowers that are going to come out in the springtime too. Like all these, they call them jonquils, or you can call them daffodils. Jonquils are more like for the south because these just do better in the south. Jonquils do. I do need to get my spring bulbs planted though. So they've been chilling in the fridge for the last 10 weeks or so. So it's time actually for me to like go ahead and get them out into the garden. I have 1,000 of those to plant, and then I think I have like 50 alliums to plant. All right, so like I said, this one right here is my lilac, so I don't want to touch that. I do have a vine that's all the way around it. My black-eyed Susan vine that got frostbit, all of that foliage died. Okay, so here's my puffer fish, and that's all I'm going to do is probably take off just the top old foliage like this. I'm not going to really hard prune this. Maybe I'll come back and prune it just a little bit more in the springtime. So tell me in comments what your favorite hydrangea is. This pufferfish is one that I really do like. Of course, I like my limelight hydrangeas. And then on the side garden, I have a couple of the tough stuff hydrangeas. And I have a big leaf hydrangea that's really pretty, but it's still small. If you see any like little limbs, you can go ahead and take those off because we don't want to put all the little energy into these little small limbs. If it's crossing over, go ahead and remove that as well. You can also do all of this in the springtime if you wish. But I'm here, so I might as well go ahead and do it. A lot of people like to leave these blooms right here if you get a lot of snow because it gives a lot of interest. It's supposed to be really, really pretty when the snow hits it. I know Laura from Garden Answer, sometimes she leaves hers for winter interest. But she gets snow and I don't. Finally got my Christmas tree up, and I'll share that with you in a different video. I usually just always do a fake tree though. Last year I saved all of my blooms, these hydrangea blooms, to put on my tree, and I'll share with you from last year. But this year I didn't really do it, so I've got a lot of old dried blooms that I'm going to use in a different project. All right, so that's about it for this one. I do have a Rose of Sharon back here that doesn't really need to have anything done to it. I have some daylilies over here that could be pruned back. Okay guys, moving on down. I have Gara right here that needs to be pruned back. I feel itchy. And I have, what do you call this stuff? Can't think of the name of it right now. My mouth. Hey guys, why can I not think of this perennial? Help me out. I can't think of it. I have some astilbe here, but the astilbe just kind of pulled right up. See, got weeds. All right guys, so this agapanthus, I still really like this structure, so I'm gonna leave it alone right there until it continues to die. I have the vermillionaire back there that I replanted from my pot, and I heard that they come back, so I'm going to just prune it all the way back. Let's see, here's my hellebores. Those are the lungworts that I'm gonna continue to prune back. And here are my jonquils that are coming up right here. This is probably the 4th year that they've come up. And like I said, these are the hostas that I was telling you about. And they just kind of pull. If they don't pull right up, you can cut them. That one's not pulling right up, but I don't want to pull the roots up. What, Roxy? What? 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 Say hello. Say hello. Say hi. Say hello. This is what the rest of the garden's looking like right now. I do need to prune these roses back. My crepe myrtles, the leaves are completely crispy now and have turned and starting to fall. And let's see, what else do we have down here in the garden? So there's still some of this that all needs to be pruned back. My poor, this is like looking sad, but it'll be fine till next spring. This is my creeping Jenny right there. And then the lantana here needs to be cut all the way back. That's one plant. I have some dahlias that I need to cut back, and I'll just leave those in the ground. And not a whole lot else to do down here. I do have some fire ants way down there. I need to grab something for that. These roses right here are going to come up. I'm going to plant something different next year. But that's what the cottage garden is looking like. And then, of course, I gave this some water yesterday because it was really dry. It's still kind of dry. Let me give it some more. Well, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, thank goodness. So I'm going to continue to prune all this lungwort back. And then I've got the Gara. I have coneflowers, the Nepeta, candy corn spirea. Leave the lilac alone. Leave your hellebores alone unless you have old foliage, and you'll know the difference between the old and the new. And then, yeah, I think I've pretty much got everything. I left the grass for winter interest. And then you can see the other hellebores here that I have. This is my wine and roses wadula, and it is already setting its buds for next year, so I'm going to leave that alone. And then I got all this pruned back too. I had a lot of annuals that I had in there, that marigolds that I got all pruned back yesterday, some of this lungwort and hostas all pruned back. And then in my containers, I had begonias that were completely dead, and I pulled them up. And then I had, coleus in here that I had to prune back. And then up on the porch there where I had my begonia in the shade, I had to cut that back and throw that away. So I still have this area over here to continue to prune. Let's come over here. I think this carex I can leave alone. Isn't that beautiful? I love it in that pot, by the way. And then over here I've got Gara and daylilies that I can prune back. And these are the hanging baskets that I made sure that I watered. Probably maybe need a little bit more water. So they're just going to kind of sit here and not do much until it warms up in the spring, you guys. And then we'll tackle that side over there. All right, guys, I hope this was inspirational. I hope that you learned a little bit. Maybe you were afraid to cut something back, and I gave you the okay to go ahead and cut it back, because almost all perennials can be cut back. They come back fresh in the springtime. And then even some shrubs can be cut back all the way to 12 to 18 inches as well. And yeah, just those 5 things that I remind you to do. Number 1, to feed your birds. Number 2 is to water everything in your containers. Number 3, I think, was make sure that you water anything that was newly planted, especially in the ground. If it hasn't rained in a week or 2 weeks, to go ahead and give it a little bit of water. And pulling up weeds when you see weeds, and then cutting like everything back perennial wise. So those were my tips for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure you watch to the end, and I'll share some additional pictures of Las Vegas. Bye, friends.